Hello, this is Patrick at OneCNC West, and what we're going to do in this training video is continue to apply toolpath to our part geometry. In this video, let's take a look at drilling this hole right along center line. Now, there's really two ways to do that. We could use live tooling, which means we would be using one of our stock toolpath's drilling operations, or we can use stationary tooling, in other words, a drill that's not rotating. The drill is going to be stationary and the part's going to be spinning. We can accomplish this by using just a standard turn machining operation, and you can find that operation right here called the drill tap cycle. Now, when performing this command, OneCNC is going to want us to select a horizontal line. Let me demonstrate. First of all, we don't need this solid model, so I'm going to hit the letter S on the keyboard and left click. And then to temporarily hide the selected geometry, I'm going to use the shortcut for the blank tool, which is the letter B. So I'll press the letter B on the keyboard, and there we go. And by the way, the blank tool is also accessible up here at the very top within the top menu. All right, so here's the area that we're going to be drilling. Now, as mentioned, OneCNC is going to want us to select a horizontal line if we're going to be using this drill tap cycle. Why is that? Well, OneCNC is going to extrapolate the dimensions of that line along the z-axis to help determine the depth of cut or the depth of the hole that we're going to be drilling. You can really digitize any horizontal line that you'd like. You don't have to create a line in here to represent the drill toolpath. Let me give you an example of that. We'll head over to the command manager, and within our turning operations, we're going to select the drill tap cycle. Notice how I'm just selecting this horizontal line here with just a left click. And once I do that, let me just temporarily push forward in the menus a little bit. You'll see that the dimensions of that horizontal line are here. We can modify that a little bit later on. But let's go back to the very first menu. This is where we define a tool, and with all of our standard lathe machining operations, we're going to need to select a tool from the tool library. You can left click on the tool changer button, or you can left click on the tool graphic. Once you do that, you're presented with two tabs. We've talked about this previously before, but the recent tab, this displays the current tools as well as the most favorited tools. And of course, you can left click and select any tool that you'd like, or you can click on the library tab. All the tools are categorized into different groups. Up here at the top, we have our standard turning tools, and then down here we have all of our tools for live tooling. All right, so we're going to be using the drill category, and what we want to do is select a 3/4 inch diameter drill, and you can see that right here. Now, within this video, I'd like to also talk to you a little bit on how you can create a brand new tool. Let me show you how to do that. Let's move the cursor up here and let's select Enable Edit Tools. Now, once you've turned this on, you have the ability to edit tools, and you also have the ability to create brand new tools. So for example, if I want to create a brand new tool, I can simply click New, or to save time, I can click the Clone button. The Clone button will make a copy of the selected tool. So let's select Clone. Here's the clone of the drill right here. For description, we can really type in whatever we want for that. I'm going to make this a little smaller. I'm just going to type in 3/4 drill, just like that. The tool number, that's going to be the default turret position. This can always be overwritten later on. So if I type the number 1 here, OneCNC will use 1 as the turret position, but we can always come back and change that if we want to. The library number, that's just simply a way to reference all the different tools within the tool library. You could give, for example, all drills, they could all be numbers from 20 to 40, for example. All end mills could be from 40 to 60, but just think of this as an internal library number. For diameter, we have 0.75. We have our included angle at 118 degrees. We have 2 flutes. And we also have a chip load per tooth, which is 1.7 thousandths. And then we have our flute length. That's just how far the tool sticks out of the holder. For this, I'm going to change the flute length to something a little smaller. I'm just going to make that, let's say, 2 inches. So I'm going to just left click in there, type in 2 inches. And then over here for the actual tool length, I'm going to change this to 3 inches. And for the holder, I'm just going to use the default of the 1 1/4 inch drill holder. All right, so there's how you can quickly create a tool by cloning a tool. You can also click New and start from scratch. You can delete tools. You can also search for tools. But let's use this tool. I'm going to make sure that it's selected and then click OK. And once I do that, the graphic of the tool appears here and the tool information appears down here. Remember how we made the default turret position number 1? That's why this is populated at 1 up here. Let's change that to 3. Don't need to worry about the tool offset. I'm going to leave that set to 3. If you want to change it, just click that button and you can type in whatever number that you'd like. Let's put this back to 3 and uncheck that. We don't need to worry about coolant and work offset. The post processor by default will take care of that for us. Now for feed rate, in the past, I've been using inches per rev. In this example, I'm going to use inches per minute, and I have in here 20 inches per minute. And for the RPM, that's the revolutions per minute for the actual chuck that's spinning with the part, I have 2,500 for that. I think all that looks good. I don't need to enter any notes, but I could come in here and type in whatever notes that I want, and these notes would appear inside the CNC program. Over here where it says name, this is the name of the machining operation that's going to appear over here. You can see all these machining operations have their own name. We could name this something different if we wanted to. We could type in 0.75 diameter drill. Let's click next on that. We don't need to change our clearance style. This is how the tool is going to move away from the part geometry after the drilling cycle has completed. Typically, 95% of the time, you can just leave this set to no move. The only time that you'd ever want to alter the way that a tool moves away from the part after the machining operation is if you're doing some type of complicated tool path. But let's leave that set to no move. Let's click next on that. All right, and so here's the main dialog box for setting up the drilling. Let's first take a look at types of drilling. We have standard. That means the drill's simply going to drill in and then pull back out again. We also have peck. This is where we can specify a peck increment amount, let's say 100 thousandths, and that way the drill is going to just peck 100 thousandths. It's going to pull up just a little bit to clear a chip and then peck another 100 thousandths. Pull up just a little bit to clear a chip and then peck another 100 thousandths. Now the difference between peck and deep hole is that in between each peck amount, the drill is going to come all the way back out of the hole. So it's going to peck, come all the way out of the hole, peck again, all the way out of the hole, and that's going to give you a better ability to flush that hole out and clear the chips. And then the last option here is called cycle. This will output a can cycle. For this, let's just use standard. That's going to be no can cycle. Here's our Z clearance of 200 thousandths. Dwell time, this is in seconds, so if I typed in 1 here, that means that when the drill gets to the very bottom of the hole, it will dwell there for 1 second and then pull back out again. I don't need a dwell, so I'll leave that set to 0. The entry amount and overcut amount, we don't need to worry about that because these just add a little bit of material to the very beginning or the very end of the length of the actual drill cycle. We can take care of that down here. So remember the Z start and the Z end, these values were taken when we selected this horizontal line. You can see that the Z starts at minus 50 thousandths and the Z end is right around minus 774 thousandths. We can change that. In fact, we are going to do that. Let's make the drill start performing the drill cycle at 50 thousandths in front, and let's make the drill depth at minus 1 inch. I think that looks good. For rapid speed, we're going to use rapid. I think all this looks good. Let's click Finish and let OneCNC generate the toolpath. Very good. All right, so let's end the video by previewing the toolpath. Let's bring our solid model back. That looks good. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. That looks great. Let's come over here, and I just want to preview just this machining operation. So I'm going to right-hand mouse click and select Preview Toolpath. And here we go. There is our drilling operation. Now, if we want to, we can hide the solid model, just like we did earlier. Go back into Preview. And now you can see that as well with just the wireframe geometry. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.